नमस्ते। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर। गुरुर् साक्षात् परम ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जंगमं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे। अज्ञानिनातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे गुरवे सर्वलोकानां। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मामृतंगमया। ओम शांति शांति शांति। अस्य श्री शुद्ध शक्तिमाला महामंत्रस्य उपस्थ इंद्रियादिवरुण आदित्य ऋषि दैवी गायत्री छंदः सात्विक गकार वट्टारिक पीठस्थित श्रीमत् कामेश्वरांतर्गत श्रीमत् सिंहासनेश्वरी चिदग्निकुंड संभूत दैव कार्य समध्यत ओद्यद्भान सहस्रभा चतुर्बाहु सम रागस्वरूप पाषाढ़ क्रोधाकरांकुशोज्ज्वला मनोरूपेक्षुकोदंड पंचतन्मात्र सायका विजारुण प्रभावोर मज्जत ब्रह्मांडल चंपकाशोग पुन्नाग सौगंधिक लसत्कच पुरविंद मन श्रेणी कनत्कोटि रमण अष्टमी चंद्रदलिक स्थल शोभित चंद्र कलंक गगनाभि विशेष वदन स्मर मांगल्य ग्रह तोरण चित्त पात्र लक्ष्मी पारिवार चलन मीनाभिलोचन नव चंपक आशा दंड विराजित तारा कांति ग्रस्त सभरण आसुर। ओम शांति शांति शांति। I bow down to Guru, Paraguru, Parat Paraguru, Parat Guru, Parat Paraguru, Parat Parat Paraguru, Parameshthi Guru. May the energies transcend. May the energies of the Gurus, all the Gurus, transcend to one and all. Om. Om. Namaste. Let me start with a kind of note. It's a discussion or it's a crosstalk of Arjuna and Sri Krishna in the midst of war, before even start of the war. He starts like this. हे केशव, मैं क्या करूं? मेरे को युद्ध नहीं करना है। ये सभी मेरे अपने हैं। मैं ना इनको मार सकता हूं ना मारूंगा। इनको मार के भी मेरे को क्या मिलेगा? मुझे युद्ध से भागना है। मैं भाग रहा हूं। मैं भागूंगा। तभी श्री कृष्ण बोले, अर्जुन तेरे को क्या हुआ? अभी तक युद्ध करने के लिए सोच रहे थे, ये जो तुम देख रहे हो ये सभी लोग कब के मर चुके हैं, ये निहत्थे लोग हैं। ना ये आज जीवित थे, हैं जीवित थे, इनका जन्म आता रहा है। तुम किसके ऊपर शोक कर रहे हो? Thus, he ends that discussion there. Meaning, Arjuna here was actually like, panic about like, why to fight and why am I fighting with my near and dear ones who have lost, whom I will be killing. I will be one of the person who will be, you need to justify my actions. Sri Krishna says, why are you worrying about these people whom you are seeing? They are neither existing nor exist. Though you might see them now, but how many births they should have taken? Do your karma, that's all. Do your job. Don't think about results. It means a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Now, coming to the point of, what exactly I was speaking in my previous videos. I was speaking about the human existence and, these 27 nakshatras as per yoga, as per astrology, or, various other things. And the time dilation and dilation, the two aspects which I was speaking about. Let's take the subject much further. As I was speaking in my previous chapter about science of sound and vibration, to this day, this human man or humanoid or human existence could not really understand that. I'll tell you the reason also why. That is the first point. And the very point which I want to talk about, Natya Shastra or 108 Karnas talk about the rightful practices or those practices which makes some sense, which one needs to understand, which is what probably we are missing upon. That's the point which I want to talk about. That is one thing. When I say wrongful practices, these Saptarishis or these facilitators or rulers of the 9 planets definitely have certain plan, which is what actually is the very base idea about the Natya Shastra or 108 Karnas introduction in cryptic language. That is what has been divided into charis, Vedas, Angas, Upangas, etc., etc. to make it more easier for the common man to understand. This is again the beauty of Natya Shastra and 108 Karnas. The same thing if I talk from the Advaitic, Dvaitic, 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 Advaita, Advaita, Dvaitic, Vishishta Advaitic, various philosophical approaches. It talks Jivatman, Paramatman, and Atman. Since common man cannot understand those cryptic jargons, that is the reason why Natya Shastra or 108 Karnas have been introduced, wherein you portray the mythological character like Rama, Hanuman, to name with certain characteristics. Now, as it was already told and prophesied that there will be declination of the very existence of humanoid. Which declination he is talking about? The declination of dharma, getting to adharmic aspect due to the effect of previous birth karmic deed. Nevertheless, you might take the birth of present birth, but one needs to understand that this very humanoid or this human existence, whatever works or karma he does, it is unique in itself. Let's say this Ramachandra is doing videos talking about the same thing other person cannot do. This is what one needs to understand. And this is a reason why Saptarishis created Saptaswaras, Saregama Padanisa Sanidapa Magar. That was cryptic. That language one cannot really understand. Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, Daivika, Bhautika. These are very base for the present day language, so called Sanskrit. Devanagari Bhasha. And this is what is a language that Daiva Yuga or Daiva Loka understands. Or in simple terms, metaphoric or metaphysical level or metaphysics level. Thus, this is where actually journey of the individual happens during the Natya Shastra or 108 Karna's performance. That time and space travel happens. The point here is that 108 Karnas are the key aspects or the key factors that get us connected to the terrestrial existential beings. They are irrespective of karmic deeds. Now, today we see that there are kids who are born with deformities, major ailments. Some are born with blind. Some are with physically handicapped. etc., etc. Why that thing is happening? See, we have not understood the exact meaning of this, Saptarishis stated principles. We need to deep dive and delve into the subject of Natya Shastra and 108 Karnas further. From the humanoid or human existence perspective. Forget about what you call that stylization aspect, or forget about whatever it is. Everything is happening, everything is having its own theology and philosophy behind that. If you see 108 Karnas, everything is directly or indirectly connected to the psyche, psychology, psychosis, psychiatry, and psychometry aspect of the mind and brain, which is what one needs to understand. That's the need of the hour, which one needs to understand. And now, if we see these 108 karnas have had shown that practical application of mind from the viewpoint of psychology, as I said, psyche, psycho, and they do not yield any result, though it creates anxiety and stress and strain in the minds of the individuals. Yielding of result. Which result am I talking about? Is it the present birth's karma, or previous birth's karma, or previous birth's karma? And how do you understand and how do you analyze? Being an analyst over there, those self analysis one needs to do. That is what actually happens during the performance of recital in Bharatnatyam, Kuchipudi, or whatever it is, Harikada or Burakada. If we take, this is what one needs to understand. There are many theories. There are many theories. There are many theologies. There have been many researchers, and there have been many philosophers. Many of them have come and they have explained in their own ways. So I always say, and I always was speaking about Yoga Drashta, Yoga Drishya, Yoga Maya, Yoga Mahamaya, and Yoga Dharana or Yoga Nidravastha. This is what one develops during the course of Natya Shastra or 108 Karnas performance. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Because all of us are in the state of Arjuna's mindset. As simple as that. And there Sri Krishna guided him. As I said before. Here who is the guide? Prakriti and Purusha, that Ardhanarishwara Swarupa. Natya Sutradhara or Natya Brahma. So the point is that conjugation point or that consummation of Prakriti and Purusha's energy coming together is what creates that ignition, ignites that source in the mind of the individual. That is what Natya Shastra and 108 Karanas performance does. And it provides that, path, pathway. The point is, conjugation or conceivement of Prakriti and Purusha is the key to everything. Here I am not talking about that intercourse or whatever it is. I'm talking about the two energies coming together. That is the key. And that is what ignites the mind and gets the humanoid or human existence to go in the right path, straight path, rather, that divine path. And that is what has had happened with Arjuna and Sri Krishna, as I was explaining in before the start of this. Now, as I said, this human body or humanoid is the constituent of 27 yoga nakshatras, 27 nakshatras as per astrology, and the 9 ruling planets. And not only that, it is comprising of 14 lokas from top to bottom, from toe to Sahasrara chakra. And thus, the energy which comes when it conjugates or when it conceives, it starts traveling right from toe to Sahasrara and Sahasrara to toe, respectively. It's not complicated, yet again, one needs to get into that. Now, classical dance or classical music form are the sources for the same. However, one really needs to understand this or these key aspects. How do you understand these key aspects? The charis, anubhavas, bhavas need to be understood and they need to be deep dived and delved into the subject at a highest conscious level, meaning ultimate conscious level or the ultimate psychology level. Thus, one will be that sthita pragyata, pragya, sthita pragya from body, mind, and soul. The point is the exact Natya Shastra which was told by Natya Brahma or Natya Sutra Dhara to Parvati Devi was talking about 108 Karanas, Charis, Vedas of the human existence by and large. Here is where actually when Parvati Devi asked what you call Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara, so called Shiva, Shakti asked, he told only one thing: without you, this Shiva is not existing. At the same time, without me, you are not existing. Both of us need to come together. That is the conjugation point or that is the central point. That is what is called Bindu, Nada Bindu. And that is where actually like Saptaswaras plays a key role. Saregama Padhanisa Sanidapa Makar. To get to understand, ladies and gentlemen. However, there have been many authors, there have been many philosophers, there have been there had been many researchers as the centuries and decades passed by. And they have realigned the so-called Natya Shastra's text itself. Though the very purpose of Natya Shastras, 108 Karanas, Charis, Bhedas, was to address the key aspect of psychic ailments going in the progressive path, not the regressive path, to achieve that human excellence near to perfection. Why am I talking about this human excellence here? This humanoid, if I calculate, I don't know how fast the time passed by for me. I still remember when I was around 16 or when I was around maybe 15. I was in a depression state. I thought how I will live, how this time will pass by. But time passed by. And today I am 51. Likewise for everyone. The time will pass by just like that. That is the reason why I say there is no measure for time when you get to the terrestrial existence. It is here on this earthly existence that we are having, which one needs to understand. However, again, the individuals have been constantly trying to violate and use by the wrong means. When I say wrong means, we have we are not able to understand the core concept of the crux of the subject. What is happening is we are having half-cooked knowledge and we are going ahead. That is what is being done. And that is what Shankaracharya was more worried about. Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, Jagat Gurus, and Ravana Maharshi. And that is the reason why they tried to propagate the true meaning of philosophy and, a true meaning of philosophy and the other aspects. But still, point not 1% of the billion population are able to understand. That is the irony, and that's the hard truth, hard fact. So if we see dancer or one who has studied the subject, Natya Shastra would be able to understand this very subject, both from astrological viewpoint and philosophical viewpoint, and even from the human existential viewpoint, by and large. And the dancer and musicians are the healers unknowingly. Why they are healers? As I said, Saptaswaras have certain energies. When we add these vowel sounds and consonant sounds to these Saptaswaras, certain energy is emitted in a positive way. And it gets to the one who is doing that recitation of that metaphorical lines, and the dancer who is hearing to it and converting using the mudras or Vedas or charis, whatever it is, transform into energies and thus emitting it, and thus propagating in the open area across, around, in and around, to the one who is watching, as well as audience, as well as everyone. This is the very primordial and very important point which one needs to understand. And they are therapists also, in a way. At its true face value. Sorry about that. Though to understand astrology subject, one needs to understand the very concept of yoga drashta, yoga drushya, yoga maya, yoga mahamaya, yoga dharana, yoga dhyana, yoga nidra. Today, astrologers are talking about it, with their own whatever that is being told. But astrology requires all of these components, ladies and gentlemen. So, dancer is not only a healer, he is one facilitator who even releases the karmic deeds also. That doesn't mean one can escape the karmic deeds, because we are not Ramana Maharshi, or we are not Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, or we are not Shirdi Sai Baba, or we are not Kanchi Paramacharya. Think about it. Don't compare yourself with these exceptions. These are the selected few elite exceptions beyond the human comprehension. If you follow also, if you try to copy and if you try to follow, you can't withhold. They can, because they have gone through all the penance. Better follow them. That's all. Implement them. Don't try to live their life or lead their life. Today, again, the healing practices have been and is being exploited. Neck and crop. They say that we heal this. Body, mind, and soul also will happen, and everything will happen. Yoga Nidra Avastha, you will get it within 10 days. Yoga Dharana, you will get within 10 days. If only that was the case, everyone would have been Kanchi Paramacharya, Ramana Maharshi, Shirdi Sai Baba, and other things. This is a strong warning to the yoga practitioners or meditative practitioners, or whoever say that they are certified yoga practitioners. You get me one certification. I want every meditative practitioner who is telling that I have what you call all the powers. I could take control over yoga nidra, yoga dharana, yoga dhyana, yoga maya, yoga mahamaya. I want them to come up with and show their prowess. In fact, I met one of the what you call gentlemen who had gone through all of the process. He told me only one thing. If you are thinking that certification is required for yoga, that means you have not understood the yoga. The one who understands the yoga aspect, yoga dhyana, yoga maya, yoga mahamaya, yoga dharana, yoga nidra, he will not talk at all. He will go to silence mode. I have seen them. I know what is the power they hold. And they don't use the powers just for the heck of using it. They use it when it is needed. To give you an anecdote, Jagadguru Shri Shri Bharati Tirthananda Swamigal or Kanchi Parmacharya or the existing pontiff of Shankaracharya in Madurai, in Kanchi. In fact, I met them. I was with what you call the old pontiff of Kanchi also, Jayendra Saraswati, Vijayendra Saraswati. I was just sitting beside him. He was silent. So try not to imitate. Try to understand what is that they have done. The point is, Natya Shastra again is a text which has all the possible solutions for the ailments and rectification for the doshas or corrections in the planetary conditions or placements at times, placements of the planets at times. It might even heal the major ailments of the individuals by and large. Might, I am using might. That doesn't mean you ignore doctors, specifically from neuro related and cancer related and other major important ailments, heart attack or whatever it is. Please, I will not use might, but it helps you to give that strength to handle that. That's all I am trying to tell you. The point here is human existence has failed to use the subject from the objective viewpoint. However, if only the society had understood the very importance of Vedas and Upanishads, today we could not have had seen the declination of dharmic aspect. Why am I using this dharmic aspect over here, ladies and gentlemen? We are not able to understand what is dharma and adharma. And that is the reason why Arjuna was not ready to fight that battle. Sri Krishna explained him clearly, this is dharma and this is adharma. If we see today, the dharma's definition is changing as well. The point is, Kalikala has started. Though then, this has been clearly told by sages and rishis and munis. These 108 karnas or Natya Shastra, wherein you are performing giving certain postures, using charis or vebicharis or bhavas or anubhavas or whatever it is. It is directly getting us connected to that power, superpower, which is what one needs to understand. Thus, Natya Shastra is a very important text from the philosophical front as well as spiritual front as well as human existence front from the humanoid front. And these 108 karnas have that major role. Though, as it is said in Vedas and Puranas, the knowledge levels keep on increasing, they don't decrease. Than decreasing. As you proceed and climb up the ladder, it does not stop. The fact is that these 108 karnas, if explored and understood, they have all the possible solutions. You will understand the true definition of karma. And these have had found the permanent solution. And thus, the conditioning of the human existence becomes more easier. You can actually like align and realign the thought process deep within, which is what one needs to understand by and large. That's the important point which I want to talk about or stress upon. And those confusions, as there are many confusions that are surrounding in the minds as to what is right and what is wrong, which is what Sri Krishna said. That's when you will understand the births also. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's very hard and harsh point, but still one needs to understand this core concept by and large. Thus, I conclude this video with a positive note. Stay blessed and have a real blissful life. May the Guru's grace be with one and all. Have a nice day ahead. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम्। सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। ललितादेव्यार्पणमस्तु। शिवार्पणम्। Stay blessed and may the Guru's grace be with one. Have a nice day.